Namaskar. Father Patrick Metinda, who is in front of us, Maulana Amir Imamul Haq Sahib, and Reverend Meredith Williams. Thanks. Thank you very much for coming. VIPs from New South Wales government parliament. Actually, I'm expecting a lot of people and receive their messages. Some of them doing some speech, something like that. But I can see over here myself that Henri Mark Hure is there, Henri Julia Finn is here, Henri Karen McNair was there, Henri Stephen Wali was here, and who else am I missing now? Oh, sorry, from the Green, our MP Amanda Cohen is here. And thank you very much. I am also expecting Warren Colby, Henri, and Henri Jockey Mandro, Henri Metros, Henri Reben, Henri Dr. Amanda, Henri Linda Walls, Henri Mark Taylors, and our minister, Henri Stephen Kemper, and also the person who has started this event 6 years back, Henri Jihadi, who is the initiator, who has motivated us to do this event every year. So we are expecting them, they will be soon. So probably there will be a little bit reshuffle in the program. I'm sorry for that. I also want to acknowledge the presence of the Abraham board here, which is very important for us, especially what is happening now in the world. This board is very much important. There is Chair Ahmed Polat is here, and I saw the Kati Howard, where is she? And I saw that Peter Wolf is there, and who else am I missing? Yo. Hey, thanks, Kate. Sorry. There's a ECC board which also is here representing ECC New South Wales. There's a senior community leaders here, NGOs are here. I am expecting a number of them. Please come. Number of them are here. Distinguishers. I don't want to miss anybody's name over here. Certainly, presence of the Western Sydney is very important because that's what I'm promoting. Sir, I am the ambassador of the Western Sydney. So I believe in that. I promote the Western Sydney. So it's a good presence on the Western Sydney is over here. And also the media representative from various sections. Thank you very much for attending today's event, importance of diversity and inclusion in today's multicultural society. It has to go as needed by you. We migrated to this beautiful part of the country. We call it our country, Australia. We migrated from here to here, considering that we will raise our families in peace and harmony. We will give something good. We felt that this is the best. We left our own country for the betterment of life of our families. And that's why we came over here. We want to live in peace and harmony. There is no other country rather than Australia. And I will say, of course, I was born in India, which is my mother country, motherland, where I have seen the religious tolerances when I was grown up. I saw that one person is living next door Hindu, one next door Christian, somebody is Jew, somebody is Sikh. We live in that environment. We have grown ourselves into that environment, and we love that. When we came here, it was not very new, but there is something good has happened here. The various ethnicities came over here, and something which we should not forget, because you will have a section of the vote 23 also voice, that the people who own this country, they never and ever objected. I don't remember a single thing last 35 years, and I keep on mentioning that. I never heard any indigenous people stand up and say, why are you here? In fact, they have welcomed us. And this is the time we have to welcome them also. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have one very serious thing which I want to share with you. Our good friend, and a number of you know already, Jeremy Jones. Jeremy Jones was the ambassador of the Interfaith in Australia, awarded with so many awards. Jeremy was one of the personality which I have seen in any multicultural festival, anywhere I saw the Jeremy is there. A number of you know that he will just come to you, he will say, can we have a photograph? He will take the small camera, take the photograph, and within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that photograph was on the social media. And he was writing, he always felt happy. I had a very, very personal relationship with him. I discussed several subjects during the issues in a number of other countries with him. One thing is that it has been very rarely, but it has happened with me, that probably 2 days before his death, I received a message from him, personal message. And he mentioned about his condition, about his health. That's why I'm sharing. It's important for this event. And he shared about his health and that he is suffering with the cancer. The matter is quite serious, but I still have the hope. That's what he is mentioned. And after probably 2 or 3 days, we received a message from the Naomi that he is no more us. At least 3 persons sitting down here have attended his funeral. Ahmed Kulak was there, I was there, and Ernest was there. So 3 of us have gone from the whole committee and attended that funeral. Ladies and gentlemen, it is, and I think it is my duty, and I have humble request to you that we want to keep 1 minute silence for a person who has devoted such a timeless efforts, time for the making the peace in Australia. So I request you just keep it, please, 1 minute silence. The way, if you are Christian, do your Christian prayer. You are Muslim, raise your hands. If you are Hindu, think about your Gita. If you are Sikh, use our Guru Granth Sahib or whatever the Tawreed, whatever you have. Consider that and take care of the journey. Please think about him, that wherever is he, we believe that he is at the right place. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining me this prayer. It was really important for all of us. Jami's wife is here and daughter is here. I really want to present flower buckets. Thank you very much, Lord, to attending that. We have our High Commissioner. I would like to request him to please present the flower. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is happening today in the world, it is important for us to mention a few words on that also. None of us want what is happening, none of us like us. What is happening? We cannot say what is good, what is bad, who is responsible, who is not responsible. Neither I can say, neither you can say, none of us sitting on that. But every one of us believe in peace. Every one of us wants that this place should remain as united Australia. Whatever happening in the third part of the world, we cannot barricade what is happening over there, and I don't believe that we can barricade it. But certainly we can dilute. We can dilute by the way of arranging some conferences, some meeting together, some discussions together, where we can bring all the various religions, ethnicities, cultural backgrounds, genders, age groups together and talk about the peace and harmony. We have to learn something from the indigenous people, how peacefully they have lived in this 65,000 years before. We should and adopt that. The reason for that is that the world, as you know, last year world has spent roughly about $3,320 billion worth of money on military equipment. So military. This was the word figure. This is not my figure. This is a figure, published figure. During the last 8 years, this budget is keep on increasing. Every year it is keeping. And roughly, if you take the estimate, very vague figures I give you, that every day the world is spending roughly about $9 billion on military. Please imagine that if this 10 days of 9 billion, say 10 days of the income which we are putting up into the military, if we put it up on the hospitals, if we put up on the education centers, schools, or we put it up on bringing the peace and harmony in this world, it will be more effective than that. Whatever the reason, I will not talk on that, neither this forum is for that, but just giving an idea that yes, certainly we need to look into that. And I hope that today's discussion, I will leave from here now, today's discussion will lead some sort of feedback to us, what we should do in future. We have here various peace group from the pandemic, the group is here, from the Black Town, the group is there, from the Parameter, the group is here, and I see from other part of the Sydney also. So please, I will leave this part, and I will request Fasibai to continue your program. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Basbhai. Yeah, this is a continuous discussion, I think, until the end of the world, how the world will be peaceful. I remember one Indian poet, I think his name is Rahim. He said, in Hindi, most of the people might understand, Pothi Parpar Jagmua, Pandit Hua na Koi. पोथी पढ़ पढ़ जग मुआ पंडित हुआ न कोई ढाई अक्षर प्रेम का पढ़े सो पंडित होए. Doesn't matter how much you read books, did the research, did the PhD, if you don't know the meaning, understanding and the value of word love, you didn't gain anything. So this is what the poets say, and poets are really very creative. They put ocean of meaning in 2 words. You see how beautifully, doesn't matter how learned you are, if you don't know the word of love, forget about, never ever the peace will prevail in this world. So we pray to the God to instill the meaning of true love in our heart and in our mind, and we can implement that one in our society and daily life. As usual, the politicians are not here yet. The parliament is in the session. They are maybe discussing, they are in discussion of important decision making or policies, because the government has recently changed after, I think, okay, thank you. Okay, attendance is ticked. Yeah, can I request Amreen to come over here and introduce Mark Khoury? Now he is on the other side of the benches. Yeah, Amreen, she will introduce. Okay, thanks.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and a very good afternoon to everyone. I would just like to introduce the next speaker. Mr. Kaur has been the member for the O3 since 2011. Before being the member of the O3, Mr. Kaur ran his own successful small business and served on Kogra City for 8 years. Throughout his time as a member of the NSW Parliament, Mr. Kaur has served as Deputy Government Whip, Chair of Committee on Environment and Planning, Secretary for Transport and Infrastructure, and Assistant Speaker for Legislative Assembly. Mr. Kaur was elevated to Cabinet as Minister for Multiculturalism and Minister for Seniors. During this time as Minister, Mr. Kaur was a strong advocate for our multicultural communities and presided over record funding increases to support multicultural and multi-faith communities. Mr. Kaur has the honor of serving Shadow Minister for Jobs, Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, and Shadow Minister for Southwestern Sydney under the leadership of NSW Opposition. I would like to welcome Mr. Kaur.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honour to be here and welcome to the New South Wales Parliament. Welcome to the room. This is my favourite room in the New South Wales Parliament. This heritage listed library was built in 1905 and sort of embodies the library and the elegance of New South Wales Parliament. You've got a wonderful stained glass window there above you. You can all look down now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honour to be here today. My name is Mark Curray and I'm the Shadow Minister for Multiculturalism, and last year I was the Minister for Multiculturalism in the previous government, and I want to thank you for welcoming me here today, this evening, to talk about a great passion of mine, and that passion, of course, is multiculturalism. I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands in which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'd like to acknowledge many of our community leaders, religious leaders, consul generals and everyone here today in the New South Wales Parliament. Today I stand before you to emphasise the profound importance of diversity and inclusion in our multicultural society here in New South Wales. Our beautiful state, known for its stunning landscapes and vibrant cities, is equally renowned for its rich cultural tapestry. People from all corners of the globe have come together to make New South Wales their home, and this is a source of immense strength for our community. Our diversity is our strength here in New South Wales, and diversity, often seen as the mosaic of our society, is not merely about the coexistence of different cultures. It is about recognising that every individual, regardless of their background, has a unique story and a vulnerable contribution to make. Our diversity in New South Wales is our strength, not only because it reflects the beauty of our shared humanity, but also because it allows us to draw from wellspring a variety of perspectives and ideas and experiences. My own family migrated here in the 50s and 60s from Egypt. We're Egyptian from Maltese descent on my dad's side, and on my mum's side migrated in the 50s after World War II from Ireland. My wife, her family, migrated in the 60s from a place called Lebanon, and many of them settled, and I note the member for Parramatta and Granville are here. My wife's family settled in Granville and Parramatta and Auburn over that period of time. And they're from a small village in Lebanon called Fadasrol. There are 20,000 Fadasorbis in Parramatta, and my wife is related to every single one of them. Our multicultural society in New South Wales has made us stronger, more resilient and adaptable. It has also helped us foster a deep sense of understanding and empathy and compassion. As we encounter and learn from one another's customs and languages, my young 9-year-old is now learning Arabic, can I tell you, and traditions, we enrich our own lives and broaden our horizons. Diversity and inclusion are not just buzzwords, they are the bedrock of a peaceful, harmonious and prosperous society. And by embracing these values, we create a state where individuals are not judged by the colour of their skin, by the language they speak, or the faith they practice, but by the context of their character and their contributions to our collective well-being. And it is the responsibility for each one of us to actively champion diversity and inclusion in New South Wales. And let us commit to celebrating our differences, breaking down barriers, and working together to create a society where everyone has an equal opportunity to thrive. And in doing so, we will not only build a brighter future for ourselves, but also become a shining example for the world to follow. I want to thank again, of course, everyone here tonight. Thank you to the Indian Crescent Society of Australia for your efforts to enrich New South Wales for the better. It is a great honour to be here to address you all, particularly this week, and a challenging week it has been. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm so sorry I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Amreen Khan and I work with the Health Commission and I'm a member of XOWA Women Committee. I'm here to introduce the next speaker for the evening, Ms. Amanda Cohen. She is a Greens NSW spokesperson with an extensive portfolio that covers health, including mental health, LGBTIQA+, youth, local government, emergency services, air quality, waste, sport and recreation. Before her political career, she was a GP and deputy mayor of Albury. She served as chair of the Border Domestic Violence Network. She was a key voice in the campaign to decriminalize abortion in NSW. May I please call Amanda Cohen? Thank you.
Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge that we're here today on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and pay my respects to elders past and present. I live in Albury-Wodonga, which is on the border of New South Wales and Victoria, and a local Wiradjuri elder told me that the Murray River, which today is that border between New South Wales and Victoria, historically wasn't a border or a boundary, it was a meeting place. It was a place where people would come together to share, to trade, to tell stories. And I always think of that on days like today where we're here to celebrate multiculturalism and inclusion. Thank you so much to the Indian Crescent Society for all of the work that you do, for supporting new migrants to this country, which is such important work. And to be frank, some work that more should be done by governments, but it's left to community groups and not-for-profit organisations like yourself, and you're doing incredible work. Thank you for supporting Australian Indian Muslim communities. Thank you for bringing people together. Thank you for fighting Islamophobia. But particularly thank you for bringing us here at the New South Wales Parliament. Speakers before me have already mentioned the atrocious events of this week, and I actually can't think of a more appropriate time for us to have an interfaith dialogue today at the New South Wales Parliament, when communities across New South Wales, from the Jewish community, Israeli communities, Arab communities and Palestinian communities, are grieving and mourning. I hope that that's something we can do collectively together. It's actually a moment for our shared humanity. We're here today to talk about inclusion and diversity in New South Wales. It's such an important thing to do, and it's something that takes effort. It's something that takes work for organisations, for corporations, for government. It doesn't happen by itself if we keep doing things the same way we always have. We keep getting the things we've always got. And inclusion and diversity isn't just the right thing to do ideologically, because everyone deserves an equal opportunity. It makes better decisions. Study after study after study in every sector, in the private sector, public sector, big organisations, small organisations, we know that when the people around the table and the people in the room who are making decisions, when they come from diverse backgrounds, when they can bring different perspectives and different views to decision making, that group of people makes better decisions. It makes organisations stronger and it makes the work better. We're here today at an institution that's 200 years old. It hasn't always done the best job. I know historically government agencies will engage with migrant communities or multicultural communities perhaps by translating a pamphlet into another language, which of course is important, and we should always translate things into language, but it's not enough to translate a pamphlet. Of course, we actually have to engage with communities on the ground. It's not just about language, it's about the actual lived experience and different perspectives that people bring that we need to consider in the way that we do our work, and certainly government agencies are better at doing that today than 200 years ago, but we have a long way to go to make sure people's voices are truly heard. I know a spotlight was really shone on that during the COVID pandemic. I was working as a GP during that time, and I know there were enormous challenges to make sure that everyone was brought along with understanding, all of the various changing rules and restrictions, making sure that we actually got vaccines out into every community, and it showed some of the challenges that we still have to do to make sure that everyone's brought along on that sort of journey. I'm very proud to be a granddaughter of refugees. My grandparents were Holocaust survivors. They fled Nazi Germany as teenagers and found safety here in Australia. And what their story taught me is the importance of standing up for all persecuted people and bringing people together. So it's a real honour and a privilege to be here with all of you today. Thank you again to the Indian Prison Society.
Thank you very much, Ananda. Now we are going to begin with from the speakers from different faiths. And the first speaker is Dr. Patrick. I hope he is around. Yeah, Dr. Patrick is he is also like our family member. Everywhere we invite him, he always he never say no. Little bit introduction about Dr. Patrick. He is a missionary priest of the Columban order, and he has spent more than 2 decades on assignment in Pakistan. I was talking Urdu with someone, and he was there, and he was, I thought, oh my God, he can understand Urdu what I'm saying. I better shut up. And then I didn't open my mouth. He lived in 2 decades in Pakistan, and he obtained his degree from prestigious institutions, including the Pontifical Institute of the Study of Arabic and Islamic in Rome in 1986. Father Patrick served as the director of the Columban Center for Christian-Muslim Relations. He is an active member of several interfaith and academic organizations, regularly participating in conferences that focus on interfaith and multi-faith dialogue. He is sought after a speaker who delivers lectures on various topics including Islam, Christianity, Muslim relations, and interreligious understanding, addressing diverse audiences. Please welcome Dr. Patrick.
Pujari Kamarawa. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are gathered, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. I acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging. I commit to walk with them the paths of respect, reconciliation and recognition. Vote yes. Yes. Friends, thank you for the invitation to share with you this afternoon on diversity. I begin with one of my favourite quotes. It is from the late Lord Jonathan Sacks, may his memory be a blessing, welcoming Pope Benedict to the UK in September 2010. We celebrate both our commonalities and our differences, because if we had nothing in common, we couldn't communicate. And if we had everything in common, we would have nothing to say. I've been asked to speak on diversity, on differences. However, I'm not good at doing what I'm told, so I'll speak on commonalities. One of the greatest commonalities that we hold in common is that we are all different. We are male and female and other gender diversities. We are straight and gay across a range of sexual orientations. We are tall and short, thin and not so thin, and everything in between. We are black, white and brown in every shade of complexion. We speak different languages. We follow different religions or spiritualities or worldviews or none. And we have different denominations within them. We have different ages, young, middle-aged and old. We have different cultures, different ethnicities. We have different ancestries from different countries. We have different educational qualifications awarded by different schools and different universities. We follow different sports. And even when we follow the same sport, we follow different teams. We are irreducibly different. But our greatest commonality is that we are all human beings. We are all one race, the human race. We share the same primordial ancestors, Adam and Eve. We descendants all share the same DNA. We share the same ultimate origin, whom believers call God, or Adonai, or Allah, or Brahman, or Dio, or Dios, or Dieu, or God, or Khuda, or Ram, or Hai Guru. Those pesky differences again. We strive and hope for the same destiny, again, variously named. I repeat, our greatest commonality is that we are all human beings. The Holy Bible teaches that men and women are made in the image and likeness of God. In the Holy Quran, God declares that the human being is a Khalifa, a vice-regent on earth. Shakespeare's Hamlet jubilates. What a piece of work is man and woman, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. However, sadly, this God-affirmed and literary dignity of the human being is sometimes minimized or even denied. In Rwanda in 1994, extremist Hutus generated murderous animosity by referring to their opponents as cockroaches, as insects, as pests to be eliminated, with the predictable result that in a 100-day orgy of bloodshed, more than 500,000 Tutsis were massacred, often by their lifelong neighbors, in the infamous Rwandan genocide. The perpetrators lost sight of the humanity of the Tutsis. They were no longer human. They were cockroaches, insects, pests to be exterminated. In recent days, we've seen horrendous retribution in the Middle East. The prosecutors of this violence do not see their victims as human beings. They are viewed as other, not brother or sister. Of each side grieve their dead with deep anguish and write extremely traumatizing circumstances. But I'm silent about the dead on the other side. It's as if they don't see them. They have become somehow invisible behind the veil of trauma and grief. And the war rhetoric speaks of the terrorists as brutes, as animals, as beasts, rendering them less than human and therefore expendable. And as we saw in Rwanda, such dehumanizing language presages genocide. Friends, sisters and brothers, let us never forget, no matter how traumatizing the circumstances, the dignity of our common humanity. It is the very least that we can offer each other, but it is the sure basis of mutual solidarity, security, fraternity, justice, and lasting peace, especially for us who are people of faith. I conclude as I began with a quote from Lord Jonathan Sacks. The test of faith is whether I can make space for difference. Can I recognize God's image in someone who is not in my image, whose language, faith, ideal are different from mine? If I cannot, then I have made God in my image instead of allowing him to remake me in his. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father Patrick. Very moving and emotional and touching speech. Very nice. The next speaker of this, before going to the another speaker, I want to acknowledge on behalf of Indian Christian Society of Australia, Matt Cross, MP member for Davidson, and another member of Parliament, Robin Preston, member for Hawkesbury. Thanks for coming and thinking about us. Our next speaker is Rabbi Zalman Kastel. Rabbi Zalman upbringing took place within the Hasidic Jewish tradition in a racially segregated neighborhood of Brooklyn, New York. His transformative experiences occurred through interaction with Christians and Muslims. Rabbi Kastel currently serves as the director of the Together for Humanity Foundation, an interfaith organization dedicated to promoting interfaith and intellectual understanding among school students and fostering unity within community. Please welcome Rabbi Zalman.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Acknowledge the traditional owners, the High Commissioner, religious leaders, parliamentarians. And of course, I acknowledge the Indian presence. What a beautiful gesture, that the recognition of Jeremy Jones, a proud member of the Jewish community who's done so much for interfaith, and to be at a Muslim event where his contribution is celebrated really speaks about the heart and the spirit of today. Father Patrick has kind of plagiarized half my speech. It's our holy book, mate. It's our holy book. As Father Patrick said, the basis of human dignity is in the book of Genesis, that we were all created in the image of God. The Talmud says that the reason that all humans were created from one couple, from Adam and Eve, is that no one will ever be able to say, my ancestors are greater than yours. We are all, as Father Patrick said, part of the human race. None of us are from another race or another ethnicity or pure blood or anything like that. All of us are from the same parents, the same ancestors. People of faith see ourselves as part of one family. And so we must ensure that everyone is treated with great respect, but particularly with concern for people who are vulnerable. The Torah, as Amanda said, the Torah calls us to remember past atrocities, past suffering. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt and what that was like, and ensure that no one is treated badly. Ensure that the stranger is treated well. We're thinking about the voice at the moment, and while I'm not going to tell you how to vote, I will read this in the Torah, that if a slave escapes, their master comes to you, that slave should be given refuge, should be given asylum, and should be given a choice about how they live their lives, where they live. Choice is essential to dignity. And the Torah encourages the Jewish people that when encountering someone who's had difficulty, has had choice taken away from them, to ensure that choice is preserved, that choice is honored. And however you vote, what's really important is that we continue to ensure the dignity of every single human being, and especially our First Nations peoples. And I'll finish with an important point as we're thinking about diversity and inclusion. Unfortunately, in New South Wales at the moment, in Australia generally, particularly through the introduction of the Australian curriculum, we've seen a decrease in the knowledge that children have about different faiths. It wasn't so long ago that children in New South Wales schools learnt about in the HSIE, in the Human Society and Environment, curriculum about different faiths, and with the Australian curriculum that has been diminished. The previous government had talked about possibly increasing that, and I hope that the new government will look at that to ensure that children understand their neighbours, understand different worldviews, including understanding different faiths. Thank you for inviting me today.
Thank you, Mr. Delman Castro. It was an incredible speech. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Iram Rashid and I work for Services Australia. I have been an active member of Indian Christian Society of Australia since its foundation, having compared numerous events and musharraf. I am currently leading ICSWA Women's Subcommittee, which is aiming to support women in subcontinent. As we know, we are here the importance of diversity and inclusion in today's multicultural society. Our cultural diversity is one of the greatest strengths. It drives creativity and innovation. Every culture, every nationality, every single person sees the world in different ways. It is my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Mr. Stephen Camper to say a few words about importance of today's multicultural society. Mr. Campus is serving the 58th Parliament as a Minister for Small Business, Minister for Land and Property, Minister for Multiculturalism, and Minister for Sport. Mr. Campus grew up locally in the St. George area and went to San Souci Public School and James Cook Boys High School. He ran a successful accounting firm in Rockdale for 30 years and raised a family of 5 with his wife Magda. An accountant and businessman, Mr. Camper has worked in both public and private sectors, having founded multiple success businesses including Coverforce, Australia's largest private-owned insurance broker. An avid fan of the St. George Dragons, Mr. Camper has been heavily involved in sports throughout his career, including a stint of a former president of the Sydney Olympic Football Club. He has been the MP for the Rockdale since 2015. So please welcome Mr. Stephen Camper on stage with a round of applause.
Well, thank you, and it's lovely to be here in your presence today. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands in which we meet, the Gadigal people, and pay my respect to their elders past, present and emerging. I want to thank the Indian Crescent Society of Australia and their incredible team led by President Abasavi. I'd like to acknowledge all of the parliamentarians that are here with us this evening, and I know they're coming now, but I'd like to acknowledge each and every one of them for being with us. I'd like to also acknowledge Father Russell Davies, Rabbi Zaman Chastel, and Pandit Venkatraman Shastri, Maulana Hafiz Khoza, Father Patrick McInerney, and acknowledge your wonderful speech too, Father. Also, His Excellency Manpreet Vora, the High Commissioner for India. Well, friends, let me begin by acknowledging the deeply disturbing events in Israel and Gaza, and for people with loved ones involved, caught up in the conflict or in the region, the developments are deeply traumatising. And while our emotions and our attentions are inevitably drawn overseas, we should never lose sight of the fact that Australia and New South Wales is our home. And New South Wales is unquestionably the most successful multicultural state in the world. And the key to our success is our ability to empathise, to listen, and to learn from each other, and to respect one another, and to celebrate the diversity of cultures in our state. That's why we must seek to prevent the overseas conflicts from being a wonderful multicultural society. I know that it's really tough, and I know that we struggle with the issues, especially when they affect us. But our resilience as a multicultural society can be measured by the way we respond to these global issues as a unified community, even if we disagree, it's really important that we actually still continue to engage and to work together. And united by our common commitment to Australia and by our care and respect for each other as fellow Australians. That's why I'm so pleased to join with you tonight at this interfaith event, hosted by the Indian Crescent Society of Australia. And I'd like to express my heartfelt appreciation to the Indian Crescent Society of Australia for their dedication to the values I've just spoken about. I commend their efforts to promote harmony and understanding among people of all backgrounds. And I acknowledge the Society's advocacy on behalf of the Indian Muslim community, and in particular, the needs of new migrants. The theme for this year's Interfaith event, the importance of diversity and inclusion in today's multicultural society, reflects the values of cohesion and tolerance. It is a theme that resonates deeply with the ideals that underpin our modern Australian society, a cultural diversity that gives our state and nation a richness of perspectives, ideas and experiences. As your Minister for Multiculturalism, I am committed to strengthening the diversity and harmony within our state. I'm committed to pursuing policies and initiatives that help all the people of our state, regardless of their backgrounds, to achieve their aspirations for themselves, their families and their communities. And I look forward to working with you to build a society where every individual can thrive and contribute meaningfully. Let me conclude by again thanking the Indian Crescent Society of Australia for organising the event, and thank you for having me.
Minister, just we need your help, Minister, before you leave it, please. There are every year, this is the 6th event of Interfaith we are doing in this place, and every year we give the awards to those people who have really significant amount of time, devotion they have done on the Interfaith dialogue of bringing the community together. So this year there are 2 awards, and I request you to just please hold on. I request Farida and Savia, please both of you come.
And while the ladies are making their way, Sadiba, can I please request you to offer this little token of thanks to Honourable Minister?
Thank you, Minister. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I acknowledge my presence on Gadigal land and pay my respect to Indigenous people, past, present, and emergent. And I also stand for the voice, yes. Father Russell Davis is a retired Uniting Church minister who a few years back celebrated the Golden Jubilee of the ordination. His shining personality. He has done not only for the Christianity, but also he has shown passion in respecting other faiths as well. He served several parishes in New South Wales and edited the Methodist and later Uniting Church State newspapers and represented the UCA on the Council of Churches in New South Wales. He is currently on Penrith Council's Interfaith and Multicultural Committees. On behalf of ICSWA, I'm requesting Father Russell, please accept our Award of Excellence for the outstanding vision, dedication, and commitment to the committee. Father Russell. Can I also request Therese to join us? Please, Therese, join us. And she has also been throughout with Father Russell in the journey. Thank
Can I request you to introduce our next awardee, please?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I have never stood up in front of so many dignitaries, and it's really a pleasure for me. And my name is Safia, and I'm here last 45 years, a grandmother of 8, and I don't do so much for Ixova, but I support my husband by allowing him to go for all this and make sure that there's enough food on. I say Alhamdulillah, thank God. I'm in Australia, and I would like to acknowledge my presence on Gadigal land and pay my respect to First Nation people, past, present, and emergent. And I stand for the voice. And inshallah, that means God willing, I'll be there voting yes. Speaking about peace, I listen to my little granddaughter, who is just 4 years old. She says always peace and harmony, and she loves to draw heart drawing always. And so I think we have a lot to learn from the children. Yeah. So I would like to invite to the stage the gentleman who is the Executive Director of the Affinity Intercultural Foundation since 2015. He's the former head of the Australian Intercultural Society in Melbourne, and he has dedicated over a decade to dialogue, peace, and universal human values. He's an executive council member at the Sydney Peace Foundation, chairs the Abraham Conference Committee in New South Wales, and advises the study of the economic impact of religion on society. His commitment to social justice grew during nearly 20 years in secondary teaching and administration across Australia, Turkey, Turkmenistan, and Ukraine. Please welcome Brother Ahmed Orhan Polat.
Good work, Ahmed. Good. And one more last thing.
Just one.
There are the organizations sitting here. Iqbal and Kokila, please come over here. From Muslim Collective, Muslim Collective. So Muslim Collective, Hindus for Human Rights, British Street Church, Waki, Ixova have jointly done a program. In that program, we have collected the signature of the people who are present in the British Street Church, who are supporting the Yes 23. We'll request them to give it to you, sir, so that it should remain in the Parliament as a document of what was done in British Street Church. Thank you.
I'll just say that no matter what happens, well, yes, but no matter what happens on the 14th, all of us that gathered at Pitt Street Uniting Church, we had an interfaith service, and we wanted to put something down, to give something tangible, to reflect that we are committed to walking with First Nations people no matter what happens. And we wanted that presented to the New South Wales Parliament as our act of solidarity in New South Wales. So this started at Pitt Street Uniting Church in the city. We took it to the west. So we wanted that connection made between the city and Western Sydney. Because as Abbas says, we really think that Western Sydney is the heart of multicultural Australia. And now we've brought it back to the seat. Yes. And so now we've brought this back to the seat of government here in New South Wales, and it is honestly my honour, because this was Abbas's brainchild, to be presenting it to you on behalf of all the organisations that made this possible.
Thank you so much.
Can I just ask, sorry, Meredith and Abbas, to come into the picture as well, and Charles. Charles' signature is here, so if I could just.
Please turn on this side. Charles, come please. We have a book of Charles here. And please take it because I want. Please, I'm back on the side is fine. And I have my High Commissioner and Consul General will join me. Please come forward, sir. You are here, so it's a good presence for us. Thank you. Please look here. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Sir, in the last thing we need to present it to Norman Jones.
Can I please request the family of Jeremy Johnson? Thank you.
We are with you. Thank you, sir.
Firstly, can I please request you to carry on with the evening? Thank you.
Our next speaker is Pandit Krishnamurti Venkatraman. With the name and his birthplace very is not matching. Because I know I'm from Bihar. I know the name of the Biharis, how it pronounced and how it looks. But anyway, a strange thing happens always. The Pandit ji currently holds the position of President at the Australian Council of Hindu Clergy. He was born in Jamshedpur, which was part of Bihar, and now it's Jharkhand in India. And he received education under the guidance of his father, Shri G. Krishnamurti, as well as Shri Nilkant in Baroda, which is again in Gujarat, and Shri Venkat Chala Shastri along with His Holiness Shri Jayendra Saraswati Swami. He has achieved a significant level of expertise in Krishna Yajurveda, having completed it up to the Padam level. In addition to his studies, he obtained Bachelor of Commerce degree and pursued Industrial Relations, Personal Management in India. Furthermore, his qualifications, he earned a postgraduate diploma in counseling in Australia. Before relocating to Australia, he held a position as an executive in personal and human resources in Larsen & Toubro Limited in Jamshedpur and Baroda for a total of 22 years. This is again very big shift from corporate life to being a priest. And again, since his arrival in Australia in November 2007, He served as a priest at Shri Shiva temple in Minto for 6 years. But presently he has been diligently serving the community as a priest in Sydney and various other parts of Australia for the past decade. Please welcome Pandit Ji.
He rightly said, though I am a South Indian, but I was born and brought up in Jamshedpur. So मैं ज़्यादा तमिल से ज़्यादा हिंदी ज़्यादा बोलता हूँ. भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शांति शांति शांति. The meaning of this is, O God, may we hear auspicious words with the ears while engaged in yajnas. May we see auspicious things with the eyes while praising the gods with steady lips. May we enjoy a life that is beneficial to the gods. May Indra of ancient fame be auspicious to us. May the supreme rich or all-ring Pusha, god of the earth, be propitious to us. May Garuda, the destroyer of evil, be well disposed towards us. May Brihaspati ensure our welfare. Om, peace, peace, peace. Importance of diversity and inclusion in today's multicultural society. Namaste. And my name is Krishnamurthy Venkatraman. I am a Hindu priest practicing in Sydney. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak today. Australia is a multicultural society comprising of people from a range of different backgrounds. According to the 2021 census, 25% of households speak a language other than English at home in Australia. This trait gives us a small glimpse into the diversity of Australian society. It is extremely important for us to respect the diversity and ensure we facilitate an inclusive society where everyone can retain their sense of belonging and make people feel more connected. Diversity across our communities helps bring new skills and ideas across different sectors. As we see multicultural workplaces emerging everywhere, it fosters not only economic growth but social growth also. In order to this diversity, it is important that we embed inclusion from a micro to a macro level. At a micro level, this can be as simple as demonstrating compassion and kindness to people on our streets, and this can slowly elevate to our local suburbs, local councils, states, and the nation as a whole. I would like to applaud the work that is currently underway to promote diversity and inclusivity, such as different places of worship for people from different religious backgrounds, communication in different languages to promote messages, offering an opportunity for kids to learn different languages, and initiative in workplaces to promote a diverse workforce. Reflecting on as a migrant in this country, I hope that as a society we are able to sustain this further and take pride in being of this multicultural land, Australia. I would like to conclude with a Sanskrit phrase adequately captures the importance of diversity and inclusion, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which translates to the world is one family. It conveys the idea that all people and nations on earth are interconnected and should be treated with a sense of unity, empathy, and shared responsibility. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Mr. Pandit Shastri. Such a valuable word. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Mr. Jihad Deb to say a few words about the importance of today's multicultural society. Mr. Jihad Deb is the Minister for Customer Service and Digital Government, Minister for Emergency Services, Minister for Youth Justice, and the local member for Bankstown. He is a former board member of the Australia Day Council of New South Wales, the New South Wales Police Commissioner Advisory Panel, and the SBS Community Advisory Committee. Mr. Deb has campaigned tirelessly for inclusiveness and the celebration of diversity in our society, believing in the notion that if you can see it, you can be it. Prior to being elected to New South Wales Parliament in 2015, Mr. Deb was principal of Punchbowl Boys High. Over a period of 9 years, he transformed the school by developing strong relationships with the community, local organization, and government agencies. Mr. Deb continues to deliver infrastructure improvements and actively encourage and support initiatives for supporting and community growth. So please welcome Mr. Jihad Deb on stage with a round of applause. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I think I'll have to talk to my office about maybe sending things that are shorter or finding out that's going to be longer than my speech, I think. Of course, I want to begin by acknowledging on traditional lands of the Gadigal people and pay my respects to all those past, present and emerging. And I'm really happy to see some yes t-shirts here and proudly tell that I'll be voting yes. Actually, I already have pre-polled and also in addition to that, encouraging people to do it. And I suppose that also comes to the very reason that we're here. We're talking about the community that we are. Probably, there's an incredible sense of sadness across the world right now. You all know what I'm talking about. There are no winners in this. I spoke about it last night in Parliament because I had to talk about the human touch, the human element, that loss of innocence and what we're seeing. There's no right here. There's no victor here. There's no moral high ground here. What we're seeing are people being killed, innocent people being killed, and sadly and tragically, it's only going to get worse. And from this tiny little place in this part of the world, we call on people to just de-escalate. These are human beings. Everybody's a human being. Everybody's got family. Everybody's got someone who grieves for them. Everybody's got somebody who mourns for them. And everybody's got somebody who loves them. The blame games, it's not now. The whole big thing is not right now. What we have right now is a collective need to make sure that people are safe. And we're just not there. It's not the start of a speech you'd like to make. Terrible if that wasn't acknowledged. And that's because there are a lot of people who are sad, a lot of people who are hurting, and a lot of communities that are broken, and a lot of people saying and doing things that they would never otherwise do. But the fact of the matter is we've seen some horrific things that we don't equate with the way to behave, things that we don't equate with a way to seek your justice, things that are abhorrent. And just because, it's just abhorrent. And I will say to the families of everybody, and I know there are some people in this room here today who've got families, whether they're in Gaza, whether they're in Israel, whether it's in a family all over the world, who will right now be thinking about them and thinking, are they safe? Are they going to be okay? In Australia, we've got, and I pray they do, and whether you pray to somebody or not, if you take a moment to maybe send good wishes, that would be good. And that sensibility that we can all provide. We live, I've always said this, in the greatest country. This country has presented me and so many other people an opportunity that we otherwise would never have. It's also the greatest successful modern, we use the phrase multicultural, but just successful modern country in the world. We've got people in this room from every single part of the world. People in this room of so many different faiths. People in this room who speak different languages, different colours. And yet we all come together. If this is not an example of the best of humanity, then I don't know what is. And we're going through some tough things at the moment. But those bonds that keep us together, we've got to do everything that we can to make sure that we never let anybody break them. They can be bent, and they'll be bent, and they'll be flexible, and they'll move, but they can't break. Because if they break, we lose this. And there wouldn't be too many parts in the world where something like this event tonight, the Indian Christian Society, and I want to thank them, and I especially want to thank Abbas and the team who I worked with for many, many years, achieved nothing other than a desire of feeling good for bringing people here. Because we can change the world. And at the moment, the world looks a dark place. But if we only ever look at darkness, then we think that's all it is. But there's plenty of light. There's plenty of light in this world. And there's plenty of light in humanity. And there's plenty of light in our diversity. And our diversity doesn't mean that you have to believe what I have to believe, and it doesn't mean that you have to pray the way I pray, or think the same way I think. That's not diversity. That's not acceptance. That's forcing. Our diversity and our best Australia comes from understanding one another, from appreciating one another, from respecting one another, from respecting views, from taking the middle ground where we can, where you call out things that are abhorrent, but also not forget that there's another element to it. Understand that everything that we do and everything that we say has a consequence. And thinking about that. Our modern, multicultural, diverse Australia is the example to the world. And the importance of preserving that rests on all of our shoulders, especially at times when it gets challenged, especially at times when it's difficult, especially at times when there's a little bit of tension. I've got a lot of friends in this room. One of my friends is Rabbi Zalman Castell. I think we're friends. We've known each other for, I'd say, more than 20 years. Back when his beard used to be black, and I used to have more hair on my head. That's how long we've known each other. And I'm a Muslim guy, and he's a Jewish guy. But we're just two guys who get on with each other, who want to make the world a better place. And when there's conflict in parts of the world where we may originate from, or we have family, we don't forget that we're just two guys who are actually friends. And I don't conflate his faith with the actions of the country in the same way that I don't ask people to conflate my faith with the actions of some people. But the only way that Zalman and I became friends was by having open and honest discussions with one another, by opening doors to one another, by sitting down and having a meal, by learning about one another. Rabbis never asked me to be Jewish, and I've never asked him to be Muslim. But I know a bit about it, and he knows a bit about it. But all he's ever asked, and all I've ever asked, is that we respect each other and we understand one another. And in doing that, we actually respect the person and we understand the person. So just as his community is hurting, I'm hurting. And just as my community is hurting, he's hurting. Because humanity is hurting. And if we don't feel that, because somebody is different, then what sort of people are we? What sort of people are we? I need every single person to remember that. Because in this room, there's good people. And in this room, there's diverse people, and a range of people. mighty court. We've got members of parliament. We've got, actually, I want to acknowledge a couple of members of parliament here. I can see Robin Preston, Warren Kirby and Stephen Barley. I think that's everyone I can see. I'll just put your hand up. Anybody else? Yeah, no, I said Robin Preston. I said again, third time Robin Preston. Okay, Robin, we're good. It's not watching. It's really funny, my friends. I didn't come here today to deliver this speech. As it turned out, I actually didn't have this in my calendar because I had a confusion between two calendars. And I came here and I walked in and said, yeah, upholding the ethos of multiculturalism and diversity. Upholding who we are doesn't mean that we lose ourselves. It doesn't mean that we have to make a choice to be one or the other. It can be both. We can be everything. I'm as much of you as you are of me. And your story is just as important to our national story as mine is. That's what, to me, multiculturalism, diversity, and understanding is all about. And the Crescent Institute, from the moment that I started working with them, I think about 7 or 8 years ago now, the moment I started working with them, we had our first event, it's always been the same. The one intention, and the one intention alone, to do everything they can to bring people together and to create a better sense of understanding and a better sense that we are only stronger when we're together. And we're only as good as our weakest link. And if we leave our weakest link, then we're letting ourselves down. That's the Australia that I know. That's the Australia that I love. That's the Australia that I'm a part of. That's the Australia that we must always strive to be. So from wherever you've come today, thank you for coming here. Whatever faith you follow, pray for good always. If you don't have faith, just make good promises, do what you need to do. But please understand that behind every single person is a human soul. And that human soul bleeds the same, feels the same, loves the same, and will be grateful for the same. Celebrate one another, and I really hope that the next time I speak to you, I can deliver one of my more usual uplifting comedic speeches that I often do. In my culture, we say Assalamu alaikum, which means peace unto you. We say shalom, we say namaste, we say arigato in Japanese. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jihad Deep. And thank you very much for sparing your precious time to share with us. And he is really a family member for Indian Christian Society of Australia, and he has always been here as a parliamentarian. But we are very proud of him to receive here as a minister. And thank you very much again to be here with us. Our next religious speaker is Maulana Amir Inamul Haq Kausar, and hopefully we will finish within the time, whatever we have said. To introduce Maulana, I will ask Zohaib Khan. He is year 9 student, and he is volunteering at work for last 5 years.
Hello, greeting of peace. I'd like to introduce and invite Maulana Amir Inamul Haq Kausar. Amir Sahib was first posted in Pakistan, followed by 33 years in the USA. He's been based in Australia since October 2014, so that's 9 years. That's 9. He's the Amir and missionary in charge of Jamaat Australia. Please welcome Maulana Amir.
There's only 1 minute left. Get out all of you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم. I have recited one verse from the Holy Quran, chapter 41, verse 35. That verse is the solution of all problems which we are facing at this time. And I'm very confident once you will hear that, then you will come to know this is the solution of the problems we are facing at this stage. God says that good and evil are not alike. Repel evil with that which is best. And lo, he between whom and thyself was enmity will become as though he were a warm friend. This is the goal, this is the motto which has been given to each and every Muslim, that you must practice. And that is that you should show love, respect and honor to the others. That animosity which you have change into warm friend. Evil do it. And I feel that this is the time, alas, we all have practiced. Then the world would have been totally changed. This world would have become a heaven. But I'm sure the day will definitely come, because that's destined by God and it will take place. We started from the like Adam, all people were united. And at the end again, this is mentioned in all holy books, people will be again united. Now look at all of us. We are from different backgrounds, different colors, different nationalities. And sitting under one roof, is it not great? It's not something very special? 40, 50 years it was impossible even to imagine. But God has made it possible. It is something very special for our future that we must understand that regardless of our color, races, nationality, whatsoever, we are one family. We are children of one God and the same God. Doesn't matter God has different names because of the different cultures, different languages, different countries. Some people call him Yahweh, Jehovah, God, Almighty God, and Parvardigar, Khuda, Allah, Bhagwan, Rav, all these names belong to him. This is what the Holy Quran says. Ayyamma tadu falahul asmaul husna. You may call him with any name you like it. All names belong to him. So it doesn't matter you have different names, but that's only one God, and we all are children of the same God. Different religions doesn't mean that we are different. No. All religions have the same goal, same motto, same destination. That destination is God. Of course, when you go on the freeway, you see there are different ways going to that very special. You choose whatever you like it. And I would say these religions, because of the backgrounds, because of the cultures and all stuff, they have different names. But the purpose is the same. And I would say this is very special get together. And you know, one verse of the Holy Quran is very special. That says, Sanjhe Vichar. The time will definitely come when all people will be gathered together. Jesus said that his advent will be as a gatherer. And I can tell you this is what the Holy Quran says. At the end of the world again, this world is going to be united again. And we will understand, regardless of the different faiths, colors, nationalities and background, we are going to be get together. And this is what God loves very much. And I am sure that he must be very happy looking that people from different backgrounds sitting together and have love and respect for each other. What a great, gathering is this. And I really appreciate my very dear friend Abbas Rizvi Sahib, I have seen him for the last 9 years, very loving personality. Has no hatred for anyone. He is not prejudiced at all. And he loves everyone and he is approaching everyone and accommodate everyone. This is the quality and it deserves our very special that may God bless him with a very long and healthy life, that he should continue the task, the work which he is doing it. God bless him always. As I mentioned that our duty is now that we should have the bridges of love, respect and honor. We should not hate anyone. The motto of Ahmadiyya Muslim community is love for all, hatred for none. When you drive on Richmond Road, you can see our mosque on your maybe right, going to this way or coming to the left way. You will see a big sign is there, love for all and hatred for none. This is what the need of the hour is. That you should not hate anyone because of any reason. We all are human beings and we should have respect. This is God has created us. Doesn't matter, if someone is born in India or in Lebanon or Egypt or Russia or here or there, doesn't matter. We have never been given any choice. Which place you like it? Which color do you like it? Which family do you like it? Otherwise, my choice would have been very different. So God never asked us. But after we came to existence, we should have respect and honor whosoever in this world. And I would say that I have made my research almost 34 years. I've been in USA. He was my neighbor. I came to know. I was in Brooklyn, Coney Island and 7th Street, maybe very next to you. So I was living in the Jewish neighborhood. We never had any problem. We always invited them to come to the mosque. Even the president of New York, Rabbi, I forgot, his name was Zarek, something like that. We invited him to the mosque. He brought, 11 rabbis. And they spoke very well. And I'm just telling you that as we Muslims are concerned, we should not hate anyone. As the Jewish community is concerned, the Muslims, we all are children of Abraham. Look at the genealogy, you will come to know. There is no room for any fighting or any hate or anything like that. I wish that we should come together and we should live together. We should understand each other. I'm sure that this world is going to be heaven. There will be no hatred or anything, any fighting or anything. And God will be very happy. Again, I would say very special thanks to Abbas Rizvi Sahib and all those who are coming and attending this event. You all have come to show your respect for others. That was the goal. And I'm sure that you will be rewarded by God. It's not me that I'm going to give it to you anything, although they give you some gift here, not me.
There's one for everyone.
But reward is with God, and that is, of course, countless. You can imagine how reward is going to be. But I'm sure very special program which I would like to, our community is very special. We are working day and night to promote peace and love and brotherhood. For the last 40 years, we are working tirelessly. Now we are celebrating our 40 years on November 25th at the mosque. And there will be, we are targeting at least 1,000 guests. And I can tell you there's my Stephen Bali is here, Mark Pure is here, and others, of course, I know them very well. And there will be, I'm expecting, the Governor General of Australia will be one of our honorable guests, Deputy Premier and the Premier. They've both been at our mosque, and they're going to attend this too. And I'm expecting that the members of parliament from state and federal, they will be coming, mayor and councillors, and all of you, of course. And I have, some guests, like invitation. I wish all of you should come and join us. Then you will hear that, the voice comes, love for all and hatred for none. Let's, make very special prayer this afternoon. We need peace. We need a very good neighborhood. We love everyone. We all are children of God. Oh God, you are the creator of all of us. Bring peace to the world, in every city, in every street, in every country, and in the whole world. Amen. Thank you so much. appreciate your contribution, and we know how Ahmadiyya community is progressing and cooperating, and the way you are leading Ahmadiyya community in Australia. We are really proud of you, and thank you very much. Now we are in concluding part. I am Siddiq Panwala. I am legal advisor of Hickswa, and our last speaker, Honorable Manpreet Vohra. I am really proud that I got opportunity to introduce Honorable Manpreet Vohra. Honorable Manpreet Vohra is an ambassador of India to Australia. He arrived in Australia in 2021. Ambassador Vohra joined the Indian Foreign Service in 1988, one of the senior most bureaucrats in Indian government. He was Ambassador of India to Mexico and High Commissioner to Belize, Ambassador to Afghanistan, and Ambassador to Peru and Bolivia. Prior to him, he served in various capacities at the Indian missions in Hong Kong, China, Mongolia, and United Kingdom. At the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi, Ambassador Vohra served as Additional Secretary, Joint Secretary, Deputy Secretary, and Director of Disarmament and International Security Affairs in various positions. Ambassador Vohra was born in Amritsar, state of Punjab in India. He has degree in economics and international trade. Please welcome Honorable.
Well, at this late hour, I'm glad that he forgot to mention a couple of other assignments I've done. Thank you also for reminding me of my age. Your Excellency Minister Camper, Your Excellency Minister Dib, Honorable Members of Parliament, faith leaders, community leaders, Mrs. Jones, Ms. Jones, Consul General, Ambassador of Western Sydney, Abbas Alvi Sahab, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum, Sat Shri Akal, Shalom, good day. The problem with speaking so late in the evening is that everything has been said, and even if I guarded my speech, somehow it's leaked out to everybody else. So can I just say how much I value the views expressed thus far, and how much I agree and second each and every one of them. This is a discussion that's extremely important. This is reminding ourselves of something which is fundamental to humanity, humankind, and our existence with each other on this planet. So it's wonderful to see the Indian Crescent Society of Australia be so committed and so determined to hold this every year. I recall that last time I had to be present only on. I'm delighted that I'm able to come down from Canberra this year. It is important, as I said, because the world needs understanding, respect, and harmony, perhaps more so now than ever before. No one, whether Australia, India, or any other country, is immune to forces and trends working in the opposite direction of inclusivity, diversity, and acceptance. There are individuals and groups that espouse a monolithic view of society. For them, it's my way or the highway. And they oppose, sometimes even violently, all those who are tolerant and embracing, who see our world as a beautiful, diverse, multicultural mosaic, which is what it naturally is, rather than in stark, binary, exclusivist terms. As an inherently pluralistic society since the dawn of our civilization, the Indus Valley civilization. My country, India, is fortunately a living example of what we presently call unity in diversity. Despite numerous foreign invasions, colonialism, and attempts to supplant our diverse cultures, faiths, and languages with a single canvas, India remains a vibrant kaleidoscope where identities, color, traditions, and belief systems have not been subsumed by anything alien, artificial, and imposed. That would have invited resistance and led to conflicts. Instead, Indian society has preserved its diversity while remaining cohesive and united. In spite of economic and social disparities, caste and class differences. This fusion and acceptance can be seen everywhere in India. We may have our occasional frictions in a country of 1.4 billion people, or 1/6 of humanity, but India overall demonstrates the multiculturalism and inclusivity that is so important for all of us. And I'm delighted that Australia too is a great modern example of this. Therefore, while completely agreeing with the topic of the day, which is the importance of diversity and inclusivity, and completely agreeing with everybody, I think we are all on the same page on the importance of these concepts. But there are challenges, as I said. So what becomes even more important in a practical sense, in a daily sense, is upholding the ethos of multiculturalism, of diversity, of inclusivity. And that is the challenge. As I said earlier, there are forces and groups who do not think similarly. Fortunately, those forces and groups are really on the fringes of society, which doesn't mean that they are not important. They are important because often the fringes can be desperate, and often the fringes can resort to means which are antithetical to what we are. It is extremely, extremely important to uphold this ethos that there is acceptance, there is tolerance, love, and respect. That's what is really, really important. Democracy, and Australia and India share that democracy, all the fundamental rights and freedoms that we cherish. We respect all that. That is what even gives space to fringe groups within our societies, be it Australia, be it India, or any of our other partners and friends in the democratic world. But it is precisely the violation of those freedoms that can be a challenge. There need to be red lines, as we have known in India for many decades, since we have been facing these challenges, often externally imposed by neighbors who'd rather bind us down in these issues. And we've seen, I think, less than 72 hours ago and less than 500 meters away from here, we've seen how that freedom of speech and expression has been abused by those fringe groups. So that's the important bit. We need to make sure that we understand and we make others understand, be it by advice, be it by cajoling, or be it by the force of law, that it is important to respect red lines. It is important that these freedoms are not abused and that we remain within bounds. Hate speech is not, I'm sorry, if anybody feels differently, I must disagree. Hate speech is not a part of freedom of expression, in my view. So that's important. It's important to understand the importance not just of the concepts, but of upholding it, because the challenge is in upholding it. And I'm sure that events like this one, and I compliment once again how ICSOA, the society, has brought everybody together. And what a beautiful, beautiful atmosphere we have in this wonderful library this evening. That's what we want to see spread out into the entire society. So thank you very much once again to the Crescent Society, and thank you everybody for being a part of this very important event.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for sir coming all the way from Canada for this event. And just to talk about appreciation, this is very small business. Thank you. Mr. Manish Gupta is our Consul General leaving now. I request Kofi to take the last part of the program as well as the other programs.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tawfiq Ahmed Sheikh. Thank you for staying back. I serve as the media coordinator for Indian Crescent Society of Australia, and usually end up getting one of the toughest job. I have to be the wall between you and the food, so I do apologize for that. Speaking about walls, reminds me of one of my favorite movies. Just a bit of a precursor. In the daytime, I usually pretend to be a finance consultant. In the evenings, I turn into a storyteller. So, considering that we are past 6 o'clock, storyteller mode is on. I'll start with the story. Speaking about walls, it reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Troy, in which it was said that wars is all about old men talking and young men dying. We have taken it a little further. We haven't even spared children anymore. And if at all you ever think that the question is who that child was, I think you might want to introspect then and there instead of expecting an answer. Humanity dies much before the war starts. And I hope that we take this back today. I also must continue saying that in the same movie, Troy, one of my favorite movies actually, so I keep quoting it quite a few times. There's a Trojan horse which burns down eventually the city of Troy. Now we can keep speculating who the Trojan horse is, but one thing I can certainly say, it's not the people who are in this room. Because today you have made the effort right opposite. You have ensured that love wins over hate. And as Maulana Sahib had so eloquently said, love for all, hate for none, and you all are a sitting example of it. So please give yourselves a big round of applause. This is where I'm trying to be as eloquent as you, but I'm certainly failing. Moving on to the last part and the most important part, and I completely understand this is past 6 o'clock, but desperate time does call for desperate measures. Yet again, a movie reference. I should stop. We are 2 days away from a historical moment. While the eloquent speakers were giving their speeches, I did tend to do a bit cheeky round of distribution of these posters. Now, you might be thinking, why have I given you a flyer for an event which is passed a few days back? It's because this is the only one which we had voice written in the biggest fonts possible. And also the fact that we've got an XOR branding on it, so purely for practical reasons. On that event, we did something. We joined our voices together to say we care. To say that I personally, coming from a South Asian background, know what it is to be in the position where the voice of the local, the indigenous, the people of the land is taken away. My ancestors have fought, died, and at the same time upheld their legacy, which is that we aspired our ancestors to be like. But today, if we're not fighting the freedom of the countries that we come from, we are a part of a historical moment where we can be a part of someone else's freedom, someone else's voice, someone else's representation in this glorious place we call the Parliament. To uphold, as we were talking about multiculturalism, uphold democracy. Some people say it's probably the worst governance system, but the best we have. So make sure we do the best we can with the democracy that we have at hand. And today is that small little exercise that we're going to do. Is I will be requesting media members, Harpreet, Harmonji, to maybe walk around and be there, and everyone who has this can please uphold it, and it would be a sign, if in case you don't want to participate, entirely up to you, and we will be looking at a small little clip where we'll only say we will be voting yes on Saturday. So media members, can I please request you there around? If anyone does not have that, please raise your hands, and I'll have one gentleman who I have assigned to bring it on, unless he's busy on his phone. No, I'm just kidding. Come. Right here. Thank you. And while we do see the members from the media taking their positions for the best vantage point, for the best pictures, please do look at the booklet that you have. You do have that little thing, the flyer which says yes. So if you may think we are 30, 40, 50 odd people, what are we going to do? I do have a short story for that too. I remind myself of the story of this prince who was kidnapped, and the ransom was too high for any one individual to pay. So the whole city came to line and wanted to pay the ransom off. And at that moment, there was this old lady with a bundle of twine who said, I will also do my part in paying the ransom. And people were like, what could this possibly do for the prince to be paid? She said, this is for me, so that I know I was there in the line to free the prince. And today, that is our opportunity. So as we are standing, maybe we can do it standing. We can have our dignitaries, our religious leaders, our Emma, please, I would like you to be in the front. Kate as well, thank you. Please do come in the front, and if you don't have the flyers, please do let me know. We can take a quick picture. All right. Lovely. So we do call something called the dress rehearsal. Let's do this. Can we just say one quick time at the count of 3? We vote yes. All right. 1. All right. We don't need background music, but thank you for whoever was trying. So very quickly. 1, 2, 3. We vote yes. All right. Let's try this time as we mean it. All right. 1, 2, 3. We vote yes. Can you do that once again? Yeah. 1. All right. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. We vote yes. Thank you, and a big round of applause to all of you. Thank you, good evening, and I do please request you to enjoy your refreshments. My name is Topi Gamble. Thank you for joining us for tonight.
And there's no harmony in the home.